these arrows, or if you kept the charts, which one played out? Wasn't, I mean, this one here did not play out. Obviously not this one. Did you guys take a look at this one today? When I draw these arrows, you guys know that I'm not thinking the price action is going to go as far as like the lengthwise. I'm predicting the movement of potential support and resistance and where it's going to hit. So for instance, this is here. Whatever this was here. And this here. And we talked about this a lot last night. Does anyone recall the importance of it? Catching Rockets added something towards the end when we were discussing, and he said it's also the daily mid. You guys remember that? Okay, yeah. Let's assume you guys do. So, I mean, you had a lot of confluence items today to take some trades, right? So if you guys are trading the SVPs today, or, you know, the daily sessions, I think you guys, if I remember correctly, you guys had a couple of good opportunities here. And I sent you guys the homework because this, guys, repeats nonstop. And we'll go over the homework and kind of collaborate. And then what I want you to do is, once you see the right entries on some of these, I want you to go look at your chart and what you wrote and kind of realize your mistakes, right? And maybe they're not mistakes and there's no, you know, oh my God.
Nice. Expensive bathroom coverage.
Just 2 peas in a pervert pod.
Hey, I'm working on one of those.
We can all agree I look banging in this, but how are we going to get in there?
Oh there's no right or wrong way, right?
I couldn't figure out who that was. They're the very.
What the hell was that?
All right, guys, let me not lose the train of thought here. So the idea is that these things repeat, and everything repeats, right? It's different every time, but the cycles and the way we behave, they tend to repeat. So today, if you guys, you know, we opened, right? If this was our daily session, what did we do that was bullish? I want people that say that they're not clear yet, like for instance, Rumi, Sunflower, some people that are confused. I want you guys to interact and ask questions because this is your chance to learn.
I took a trade for IWM, which was where we entered into previous day value area low, and to me that seemed like bullish, but based on 80% rule. But then I got stopped out because the market reversed from there.
Well, let's start at the beginning of the day, right? Let's start right here, right? We gapped up, right? And you guys see here, we kind of went above it. They came back inside here. If anyone had the opportunity here to short, this was a really bearish setup, guys. Once you go above the value area from the previous day, and then you come back inside, that's a very bearish sign, and it's in your PowerPoint under the value area tips. There's 3 tips in there, and this is your first tip that I just mentioned. You went outside, you went above the value area from the previous day. This is our previous day session. You guys see the value area high here. You went above it, right? And then you went inside, and this is where you short. This is your opportunity to short, because here, this was the breach. And here, most retailers, I would say, still take trades here. And a lot of you guys that did the homework, you guys take a lot of risks when you do this. Sure, you can make money, but look at these nasty candles that go here. You know, you break and look at this. How many times will this candle get you out of the contract on this breach here? I'm pretty sure all of you guys will lose it on this one. Am I right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why, you know, you do not want to try to be that guy. It's about patience and waiting. Patience and waiting. Today, for instance, catching Rockets, he got stopped out for a big loss, and I'm not picking on him. Did I mention that we were going to go to 36.48? That was my target. From a long time, that the market was very bearish. Once I saw this, I knew that we were going to go at least to the PD value area low, and I was aware that if we break this, that this is going to be the level, because there was a huge confluence. So we already knew that we were in bearish waters already. Then what did we do, right? So if you at 7 o'clock, you come in here, perfect retest. This is the setup that you live for. And now think about the homework that you did. You cannot short if we're at the PD POC and this POC never was revisited, right? If we broke from here and you come back here, this is also an easy short. You have a short here and you have a short here. Both times these are short opportunities. Here you breached the PD POC. Here you breached it, you reclaimed it, then you lost it and you made a lower low from the last breach, right? Here, lower low. So that means there's a lot of weakness coming in up here. They came up, perfect tap. Then you can use your levels, right? I mean, you have this level
Shorty,
here. That we, let me
please
finish, please. No. Let me finish. Stop. You come in here and this is your rejection. This was your weakness. You broke inside the previous day POC. What is the sentiment once you're below PD POC?
Usually bearish.
Your sentiment is bearish. You already had one sentiment switch in your head. Should have been, we went above PD value area high, then we came back inside, rejected it. Now we went below PD POC, we are rejecting it. You went below, you don't short here. Look at your charts. You do not short here, you short here. Then you went around, you went to the session POC. I'm pretty sure we had the PD value area low. So here you pretty much completed, in the morning, you completed what? 80% rule was executed here. This was a perfect execution of PD value area low. And I believe Kobe, he caught most of it, or I think like 40 points on this. Here, he was able to catch something really nice with one contract, which was still like $200-300. Okay. So once you broke this, you came back for a retest. At what time did you do this? So if you're paying attention, right? If you look at this, this is your easiest short of the day. Right here. And do you guys know where I shorted it? I shorted it here. Where did I add? If you guys look at the timestamps,
3540.
I added here. Because this was my idea. If you came here to the POC, I'm like, okay, well, you're going to come back, reject it. I'll add more. I added, I trimmed, and then I held a few of them, and then I was able to catch some. And I think I got like 25, 50. I can check my orders. On a runner, I got like 25, 50 on a trailing stop. I think the contract went as high $35. I just was not next to a screen that I could sell it. I would have sold it above 30 if I could have, because that was a really good return.
On that, you were started saying all the way at the top there with that PDPOC that we're going like, I don't know, somewhere. I was just trying to look it up, but there's like 80 pages worth of stuff from today. What was, and like I saw that, but I felt like I missed my entry, and it was probably 37, 34-ish right there when I decided not to enter. And why was it that you hung out for so long? That's what I want to know.
And this right here?
No, that second arrow down.
Oh, this one here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where you entered short to, I mean, why were you so
confident
that we were going down to 36 or 30, what is it, 3680 or whatever you were talking about?
I said 3648. Yep, that was my target. And that was also a previous week. What? It's not on this chart. I don't know which.
Just a week clock, I think.
It was the previous week value area high, right?
It was previous week value. I don't know why is it gone from this chart. It's 3648 was previous week value area high. Why did I delete it? I'm sorry. Yeah. So the reason, I'm sure that's a very good, and I'm glad you asked, right? That's a very good question, and I promised that I would look at it. So if you look here, what's happening right now in price action? What was happening?
Lower highs.
Okay, think about bigger picture, price action. We talked about it slightly yesterday. You're consolidating.
You're in balance.
You had a huge volume accumulation, which lasted 7 hours. Remember, this one was like 7 hours before they broke out right there. This was 7 hours consolidation, right? So here, supposedly, you got a lot of volume accumulated. And from this level, you're able to go and pop and go higher highs, right? You popped, made a higher high, higher high. Here you're coming to resistance, right? You have the liquidity. It was a PDH at one point. We said 3780 is our go long level. You really have to breach this in order to go higher, right? You even asked me about this level. So now we hit the structure high here. We made it. We're unable to come to this structure here and break it. You're making lower highs, right? But then just pay attention to the volume as you're coming here. You know, obviously you hit this here, irrelevant, right? Then you come in here, you know, you have a lot of volume here, unable to break it. And then you see it's kind of descending green volume, and here comes a little bit of red picking up, right? So the first red volumes are coming right at the retest of the POC. So for me, when I saw that, I'm like, okay, well, if you're gonna have lower highs, you lost the PD value area high, you're losing the PD POC twice. You came back, retest, and you had a nice imbalance here. Okay, well, when you came here and then you failed, and there wasn't a lot of uptick in volume for me, at least. When you look at this, and you can look at it in 15 minutes. 15 minutes, it was descending volume as you're going up. And then here, they accelerated, right? So my idea was, hey, you have lower highs, and where are the bulls? Are they here? Are the
Gotcha.
bulls?
So they're gonna defend that spot. So that was
Well,
the target.
first you have to think this way. Before they defend it, they have to drive the price down there. They have to drive this price here. Remember, this is like literally like a little magnet. There was a liquidity imbalance here, and you see the little gray box that we found. Do you remember the 30 seconds when we found that literally nothing happened?
Yeah.
So there was still some liquidity that wasn't filled. So there was a lot of buyers that happened, but they never, you know, they got counted, but they never got the shares. So now somebody has to go back and fulfill those orders. They came back and they filled all of these orders. So now maybe if we are done here and we hold this level, do you guys have an idea where we can go?
They send it up again if they want to.
Yeah, it would go to 378, 3780 right here. Because now you're watching to see if these buyers are going to be able to defend their long position here. Remember, it only took them 7 hours to accumulate in terms of accumulation and power and how much you can grab in that time span. I don't know, maybe not a lot. And I'm looking at volume and it's not like, you know, it was insane volume. They did pick it up here a little bit more. They added, right? And a nice volume uptick. But now you're watching still here. There was a nice little sell off, but there's still a little increase in volume here. I'm buying. You guys see this? They're again buying a little bit more here, and I'm only on 15 minutes. So I can go 1 hour and look at it. So the volume between, you know, when you got in here, right? Would you guys say it's uptick or down from here to here? Is it down or up on 1 hour?
Down.
It went
Well,
down.
it went up in the middle here where they reloaded, and then, but the red volume here where you expect it to breach is not any heavier than it was here. Would you guys agree?
Yep.
You sold off here really heavily in 3 candles. Look, 1, 2, 3. How many candles did it take you to sell off? Let's say from here again, even though it was after hours, not, you know, a true baseline comparison. It took a little bit more candles, right? And then if you look here, you know, they came within 2 candles and then they got a nice little hammer candle here. And then, you know, you have a nice double bottom here if you want to think about patterns. So now, if honestly, if they're able to push this once we adjust these PD value areas, once we adjust this, there's a high chance. And I don't know how we're going to react, you know, or what Tesla did after hours. I'm just going to peek real quick. Okay, they got sold off. So I thought they spiked them up and then did they spike? Yeah, they did. 230 and back down. Okay, our target was 233. So there's a high chance that they could actually come back from this formation and just send it higher and go back to this range top. So my confidence is that we're gonna go back and that this magnet here is gonna be pulling towards it first. And if these, if they're not as aggressive buyers here, I was thinking there's a high chance if they break this, then we go to 36.48. And that would be a nice previous week value area high. So if you look here, where is it? Right here. There you go. And what do you guys notice between the two areas? Is there a lot of overlap or just a little blank space?
Don't you grab those on the 30-minute, not the 1 hour?
It would probably be identical in this. So I usually grab 65 minutes.
The same between there's some blank space.
It'll be
Okay,
a skinny belly.
How would I check this?
An FVP from that low from
Let's
30.
let's start from this week to the end. And what do you guys see now? Now you're seeing the same thing, right? If
Yeah.
you lose this level right here, there's a high chance you're gonna go look for what? Next
New
value area. You're gonna basically the price goes in the discovery mode. Every time you're confused, think about the auction guy, right? I don't know if you ever watch those shows where they sell cars or classics. I mean, they go quick, and if there's no buyers, on those auctions, they don't bring the price down, right? But the auction fails. At one point, it just stops because there's no more interest, right? So it's the same here, right? There was not a lot of liquidity. There's not a lot of buyers and sellers in this area. So called fair value gap. There's a high chance that you're going to be in here, right? And you're just going to pretty much potentially, if you break the zones entries, you're just going to fly through it. And you see where they rejected it last time. If you grab this, they did like a little gap protection, as we call it. And they did it also here, very close. So that's idea when I look at the chart. I'm like, okay, well, where's the balance? Where's the imbalance? And if you see the imbalance, what do you notice about candles when it enters the imbalance zones?
Usually like pretty big candles.
White.
Look at this candle. Look at this candle here. I mean, isn't it like every single one of these was a big candle? And when there's volume, when there's a lot of volume, what do you notice about candles? Look at this area right here. There's a lot of candles and the movements are tight. So usually, as explained, in a PowerPoint, when you're in the area like this where it's a lot of volume, you want to avoid trading, heavily. Your position sizing should be quick. Once you enter these value area, the outside the value areas, whether it's below PDF value area low or above value area high of such balance, you go a little bit heavier because the balance, is going to lead to imbalance. Imbalances happen quick, and they can pay really nicely if you catch these. So that was my conviction, pretty much dumpster on that trade and why. I was betting that this magnet here was going to pull.
Gotcha. Thanks for that. Yeah, because I was, I don't know. I would have played a smaller contract, but at the same point, I saw that, but it felt like it was too late. And at the same point, like you literally had like a half a day hold on that damn thing, and I was like, why? I even had a chance to like re-enter when it popped off the VWAP, and I'm like, man, I don't know.
Oh, Shorty, if it could help, like sometimes when you do that during the day, could you just like let us know like what you see?
Yeah.
Today didn't have that chance or luxury, I get it, but at the same point, it was like the conviction was just like, is he just fucking with us or? I couldn't tell whether you were like real or whether you were just, I don't know, spouting off to like I don't
Oh
know.
no, it's real.
Just be you.
I don't know.
So.
7 out of 7 lucky trades today.
Well,
Yeah.
he's always like that though, and I mean sometimes he'll freaking average down or something like that, and yeah, no, I don't know.
No, but there was a lot of conviction that, you know, I saw what I saw. So remember, we're in a range. If you're making higher lows on the bottom of the structure, it's usually what? A bullish sign. If you're in a range and you're making lower highs, probably a high chance you're gonna hit the bottom of the structure, right?
Yep, for sure.
So if this was my structure here, right? Because this is where the liquidity was. Right here, I guess make it black. So if this is my liquidity right here, right? And look where we came back. I mean, you made a lower high and look, set up a
'Cause
little
that's right
trap.
where that VPOC was.
And then you just kind of bounce. So sometimes it's looking at a chart and not overthinking that, right? It's simple rules. You hit lower high and then you just got to trust the levels, right? I mean, of course, in the morning, they executed a lot of good setups, but then I was just waiting for these POCs because personally, for me, POC was a better entry than the PD value area high, just from the risk to reward perspective. Because here was like 10 points, if I remember, 10 points, 25. And then from here, we had like 40 points. So that's kind of like what I was excited about. Once I saw a double tap here, you got in. And I was like, all right, well, pretty much done deal.
Yo, Shorty, when you get a chance, can you check out XLE, sir?
Yeah, we
Appreciate
will, but let me finish futures and levels first. Okay, so does that help?
Yeah, a lot.
Yep, so
Hey,
tomorrow will
Shorty.
be interesting, right? Because the VIX options expired today, so we'll see how the market behaves tomorrow. It'll be an interesting way.
I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So the price action went below the PD value area high before the actual market opened, right?
Mm-hmm. Right here.
And so that still classifies as the 80% rule. I guess I didn't realize that
I mean, people
can
bet it
happen.
on futures. Yeah.
Right, and I didn't realize that. So I took it back up and I was up, and then I guess I didn't see your message in regards to take it back down at the POC, and I took it the wrong way and got slaughtered.
Where did you go long?
At the POC.
Here?
That where you tap, yeah. And
Okay, and I saw an error in your chart, I believe. So how would you guys take this POC long? How do you take something? So remember, you lost this, you had a sign bearish. You lost the PD value area low. You reclaimed PD value area low here. Not the cleanest stuff, I would say here. If you look at these, you know, the wicks, top, bottom, I mean, it just looks nasty.
It would have
But
to break above the POC base and then come back and retest it.
Retest,
And then enter on the retest.
we have to go above it.
You don't enter on the
to
tap.
know that there's sentiment here. You short here first, and you put your stop loss above. If that breaks, that means the sentiment shifted because if you're above the POC, then you're looking for long. So imagine if you lose 10% here, you know, it's all about, you know, your risk and position side. You put your stop loss here. Let's say you entered short, man. Let's say it triggers. Well, you lost 10%. But now your brain should trigger, okay, it's not a revenge trade. I'm going over. It seems like the bulls are gaining control. If you're gaining a control, you come back here. Then, you know, based on these candles here, we could figure out, you know, maybe this is your stop loss here or some volume profile stuff. Like you could grab this, you could grab it all the way to this candle, and you could see, okay, well, my stop loss probably here after this shelf here because there's not much volume. That would be your bearish setup. But if you go, you have to reclaim the PD POC in order to show you that there was buyers willing to go above it. And then when it comes back, what do they have to do?
base there for 3 5-minute candles or such, and then go back up.
I'm asking you a specific question. If they go above this POC and the price comes back to this POC, what do you think this buyer is going to do here that bought here on the break? They push the price up. There had to be some buyers to push it over some key levels. What do you think this buyer will do here?
Add to their position.
Sell.
Okay, let me ask this way, guys. You guys are not following.
They'll add to their position.
They will add and defend their long.
Push the price up.
If you break here, think about yourself, Rumi. Here, let's put you in
Right.
the shoes. You're driving the price and you're like, hey guys, this stock has a lot of value. You break a key level of resistance, which is 37.40, let's call it in this way. And you push the price up, right? Well, now the bears drive the price here. What are you gonna do?
Defend.
If it dips a little below, you're gonna be like, buy to keep the price above your average. And now they do the same thing, right? And you know, some of these traders are probably short-term traders. I don't think these are long-term traders here. But the idea is to defend the long and short positions, right? So that's why, and you know, you knew here, is this a strong high or weak high?
Is that a strong high or weak high? It's a lower high, so it's weak.
So
Weak.
be careful.
Strong.
It's a strong high. Why is it a strong high?
How far it went down off that level?
No.
Quickly.
Candles.
The aggression.
The aggression, correct. You came here on a single tap, they reversed it. Okay. And that's also a strong high here. You came in and you reversed it. When you have a weak high, right? Usually like here, right? You had a weak high here. It came, you know, they came in and they didn't really drive the price aggressively down. They're stuck in the range for a little bit. So here they were watching this for a little bit. I mean, look at the difference between this and when it hits, for instance, here. You see the slope? The slope is much more aggressive here.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so when you say strong high, you mean a strong resistance.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And this is also explained in which book, Dumpster?
Trader Dale, page 38.
Thank you. The strong high, weak high is really good to understand because it goes with failed auctions as well. Like here, you had a failed auction and you came back.
I think maybe you have it in the slideshow as well.
I probably do. Dumpster, thank you. Okay, so now all you have to do is kind of look at the market, right? So we know that there's buyers here. If we break below this level, how would you short this now? Level right here. Rumi, how would you short this? And catching flower, how would you, or sunflower, sorry, not catching flower. I don't know why.
I would short the retest of the POC.
Yeah. So you need this. And when I say retest, this is not a retest. When it does this and goes here, a lot of times that's not a good retest. You need it to deviate from the price a little bit. You need it to make, you know, if this was right here, you need it to kind of grab this. You need it to break this and then you come back and then you're able to short it. And then you look for the strongest level. You know, 36.48 is going to be a good level because we know that's previous week high. So that's to be your entry. And as I'm doing this should give you a lot of ideas how to correct your charts for homework. So some of you guys were just shorting everywhere on that chart. Going long in random places, shorting where it doesn't make sense to short. So this is your short here. What would you do in this case here?
I would trim contract.
You trim the contracts. And also it could tell you that this might be a sentiment change, you know, to be bullish setup here.
Go
This
long.
is you could potentially go long here. Because if you look, you had a nice resistance here, multiple resistance points here. You broke it here. Now you went over it and you never came back to retest. So and again, same concept. Is this the same idea? Just flip it. Here you go. Look at this. You went, you come back, first re-entry, and look at this. And that's the same thing that's happening over here, right? If you think about it, we popped over it, we failed, then you went over it, now you're coming back to this level. Here, if you went long, what would have happened here? Because this was a good level to go long. You come back, resistance break, you would have gotten stopped out. Then you go above here, and most people are scared, you know, oh, you're gonna reject here, I'm not going long, and that's the trend days. You don't get in here. Now you're watching this here for a long opportunity. This would be a really, really good long opportunity here. Right here. So you have a short here.
What do you say? Since price action always returns to the scene of the crime, it will be lower where that other purple line is at. I can't see. Or
sure what you're saying.
I think he means 36.27.
No, it won't come back here. I mean, it would be first. I would buy here, but that's just me. I would go here. This would be the level that I'm after here. You even have this one here, but I'm interested.
Based on last 2 weeks price action, the liquidity pool has been a magnet. The liquidity pool is at 6, whatever the hell that is. I can't see. The next one.
This?
Yeah, that one. There, lower. Yeah, there. Around that area, that range. Liquidity pool has been a magnet for bulls and bears and for market makers.
Yeah, there's a lot of volume there, right? So there's some volume here. The POC would be here. So I would look for the previous week value area high to be the bounce first, because that's the next zone that they're searching. So that's where I would go long.
Shorty, what's that level right there? I can't see it, man. Where you have where you stop to go long?
Posted the link there. You can grab it. Which level?
The one where you would go long.
It's the previous week value area high.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
I had a question regarding, I guess like the skinny bellies. What would you say is the order you kind of look at those when you're looking at a trade? I'm assuming like price action, of course, would be first. But kind of like when does that tie in? I know it's important to and you need to, but when do you personally look at the shelves if you're examining?
I'm not sure if it's a trick question, but I mean, I identify skinny bellies anytime I see them.
Okay.
Because that means that there's a gap in liquidity there, right? And if they enter that pool with no, no liquidity, that they're just gonna fly through it. If it's a low activity area, they just slice through it. So for instance, right, we talked about this a little bit. We had the P shape here, we ran up, right? And now, it looks like you're almost breaking the value area low of that P shape. If you take a look here, that's kind of what you're holding on to, right? And the only reason why this is important, anyone have an idea? Why is this value area low fairly important here?
They might defend the skinny belly.
They might defend the skinny belly, but remember this accumulation here. These people find value of this instrument, ES, in between this and this here. 68% of the volume is concentrated in this area. So just because we broke the POC, they still have a chance to defend it because that's where they found value. So the responsible buyers are in here. They're like, we still find value here because they're the ones that accumulated for 7 hours in that area. So now if they're able to accumulate it here, not a bad long play is, for overnight, You know, stop loss 36 somewhere. I would probably put it here, 36.72. Like below this value area high, somewhere here. You put the stop loss there, and there's a chance we might even rip to like, let's say 37.10. A little bit higher or here. And then if something crazy happens, Bank of Japan just announced bond buying, they could kind of pop this and go to 37.80, same way. So
I
the
just
skinny
placed that
bellies,
one in future.
huh?
I just put that one, what you just drew there in future.
The order?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a bad order, actually. I'll probably put it too. So, but there's a chance they're gonna defend this, right? Just, you know, talking through the points. Hopefully you guys can see the story. They're heavily accumulated here. They're defending, and this is, you know, volume accumulation setup, and it's explained here as well. You guys see this? They accumulated, I believe this was Oxy. Yeah, this was Oxy, and this is where we got it. So every time it came back to the POC, they bought more, and you guys know who bought more. So every time it came here, they're buying more. So why not take a chance going long in this level and see what happens? So it's the same thing here. You're just defending a level, and here's your bearish, right? You know, same concept here. You accumulated, you sold off from here. You see how many candles are stuck? You sold off. Here you came, you set up a trap. You went to the value area high. And most people that shorted here, what happened to them? And this is Rumi why you do not short on, you know, here it was a good short entry to get in on this one, but stop loss would have saved you on this one. Not every time it's going to work. And that's why you have a stop loss. Then we went over, and same concept here. They defended the POC. You could have gone long, but now most people would have shorted here. But look at the retest once you lost that. It led all the way down to value area low. While this one came kind of like 61.8 of this whole move. So that's your volume accumulation setup, and it's literally right here. We accumulated here heavily, really heavy accumulation here. And now you're trying to defend it. The only way, the best scenario, better than this, what is a better scenario here now for shorting? There's one better, which is an A+ setup. What is it? A better opportunity to short. What is it? Off of this level.
Jim Cramer's bullish.
Run up POC.
Say it again.
The retest from bottom of the run up POC.
So the ideal would be that you do this. And this is a more convincing short than this one. You guys understand why?
Because you want to see if the buyers of the previous day see more value above it. If not, it's bearish.
Because this would tell you a few things, right? If they run this up and they get inside the value area low, right, of the previous day, like, you know, currently, if they get in, you would be like, okay, well, we're bullish. But if they reject it here, well, then that would tell you still you're not able to break that, you know, second bullish sentiment above the PDPOC. You will dip below this area where you accumulated heavy area. Once you're below that, that tells you the strength of and the aggressiveness of the seller is greater than the buyers, and here you short. And here you have the volume accumulation. You know, I don't know if the daily mid probably shifted a little bit, probably like 6-7 points or something like that. And then, you know, you have the PD value area low, and it becomes a no-brainer to short. If you want to be sure, you could wait, you know, break this and break this value area low of this P shape here, and then get in a short, and you would still get like 30 points down to this level. You're welcome to trim at this devil number 3666 as well. So that's why we have it there. So does it make sense for tomorrow, the plan?
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. And thank you. That definitely answers my question as well. Because I see that I definitely need to make it more of like a second habit as well, like glancing over at the shelves. Because I always look at PLC, I always notice that. Now that's second nature, value high, value low. But
Oh yeah, that'll come naturally as you get more intrigued by volume profile. You'll start noticing that as well. And here's your, volume, the visible range volume profile, which is now encompassing all of this, what you're seeing on a chart. And where's the fair value gap? Okay, if you don't
Basically
see
right
it,
where we were talking about, yeah.
fair value gap is right here. And what do you see there?
Skinny belly.
They're gonna defend this, guys. Okay. And you see the POC here is on the bottom, all the way on the bottom here. So if we are to dump here, I would think this level here is going to be pretty important to hold. And when I say level, remember, it's not a single level that you're looking at. You're looking at something like this. Keep that in mind. Okay. So good on ES. Hopefully everybody understands it. And look at your homework, what you did, and see if you made any of these mistakes where you took some shorts initially. Okay. Okay, here's your homework, right? I started taking some notes last night and I pretty much fell asleep. Let's see, where's my shelf here? Okay. So this is my shelf here. I just want to make sure you guys understand this chart and you can reflect back on your own chart. The reason why I picked this area, because there's a lot of complexities on this. It might look like it's simple, but there's a lot of stuff that's going on here. Okay, so let me find this guy. Start taking some notes and I'll post these for you guys. But so if this was our monthly value area, remember when you're looking at monthly POCs or volume profiles, it's more of a swing trade or a short-term rejection of a key level. You're not staying in those levels for a very long time. Okay. So some of you guys had some really good entries. Some of you guys, did not. And I gave you only this piece of data here. Did I give you anything about the previous month, August? I did not. Okay. And the reason, I did not is to see how many of you guys would blindly say shorted here. And some of the reasonings that you guys said shorted here is, oh, it's September value area high. You cannot short it just because it's September value area high here, guys. There's no validation that it's being rejected. But there was some, if you look back now, if you look at, August here, there was a key level for shorting. What is it? Same concept as earlier. This is your August POC here. If you remember, you deviated, you broke the POC. This is your first retest of that POC. This is a golden opportunity if you knew this piece of information. I left that off on purpose to see how many of you guys will just say, I will short it here. And a lot of you guys, did that. And that would not be a valid trade because this is your first time coming back here, and you did not break any support and resistances. So it's not really valid. If this looked like this and then it came back, then I would say, yeah, that's a pretty good setup. I would say this was a good setup to short here. Okay, so this here, if you selected this without knowing the left side, not good. Then here, this is your, was demand zone at one point, right? So you accumulated here and you bounced off of this area right here. If you grab this little box, you guys see this? This was a beautiful demand before. Now you started losing that demand. The aggression became a little bit stronger on the supply side. You came back here. How many of you guys said you were short right here?
I said both. I said you could take it long.
Yeah, I said I was short.
But keep a tight stop loss. And then I also said that because on the top where I did short, I said that that was a retest of the September value area high. And then that would be your second scale out. Your first scale out would be that volume node right above. And then right here at this POC would be your second scale out, but you could also go long there, but keep a tight stop loss. And runners below that to the next volume node.
You did not go
And
long or short here.
I did both. I said you can
You
scale
don't do
out your
neither
short. I'm sorry?
You
What
don't
he's
do
saying
either
is,
one.
yeah, you don't do either one. That's what he's saying.
Well, if you scale out there on your short, I would take a long there, but keep a tight stop loss.
Yeah, but what
If
I'm
the
telling
price,
you, for A plus setup, this is not A plus setup.
right?
This is a very risky setup.
But would you
Here,
not consider this a retest when it's doing this? I guess not. That's just consolidation.
this is
Yes.
just you don't know if it's gonna be a distribution or
Gotcha.
accumulation. If you got in short and this exploded higher here, you're done. But what could happen, and I'm leading you to this right now, follow the red arrow here. If you come back here, it's just hard. I'm limited on space, right? So here you sold off. This is your, what type of setup is this from our PowerPoint?
Distribution.
Support resistance, isn't it?
V shape. Accumulation of volume.
Accumulation.
Thank you. 3 setups. Accumulation. We are accumulating here. We accumulated. That's your POC. When you sold off from here, all your eyes should be, once you come back to this level, I will short you there. And look at this arrow here. This right here is an A plus setup. So if you had this as a short entry, this is the way to short it. Because remember, this is your month of, September. This was the volume bearish accumulation here. You sold off. Then if you're able to push the price back up, you short it from here. This is the setup that pays really, really good. Okay. Next setup. So if this is your high volume node here, right? It's not the biggest node, right? It's almost the 4th biggest node on this profile. If this is our, high volume node, and here, if you guys pay attention, what happened in this volume node here?
Minimal accumulation.
Yeah, they accumulated and then distribution happened from there, right? So now if you're coming back to this level, right, you can come here and it would be a rejection. I write something here in this box that most of you guys should get familiar with. The smaller the supply, the more risk it has for your short. Does that make sense? It's fairly simple.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The shorter the run, basically.
And position in such a way that your short probability of being correct is also smallest. What I mean by that is if this is the smallest shelf, don't go in 150 contracts here. There's a high chance we can break through this. It's a good probability we'll reject. If we don't, you should have a pretty good stop loss and not over position. Me personally, if I had to pick position sizing between this and this, I go heavier here. Okay? Because there's a lot of sellers there. They're going to be active again. Here, not so much. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So this was a, and I gave these kind of grades here. This is a B plus, not my favorite setup. It's not something that I look for where I want to short, the high volume nodes when they're so small, right? If this volume node was here, let's say this one was here, well, that'd be a little bit different story, right? Because it's almost the same as POC, and that would mean there's aggressive selling there, and I would have been happier, right? But now you're noticing that this shelf here, if I was to kind of grab FVP from here to here, what would you guys notice on this level here? Well, this level probably grew a little bit, right? Because you see how many price actions you had in that area, right? And now we just lost the cumulative POC of the previous month to current month. You guys see you lost it. So this is your B setup here. It's not something that I look for. Definitely would not short it here. If you're looking for a swing entry, I gave you monthly POCs. You're looking for swing entries here. If you enter, you're not entering, unless you're scalping here to catch a little bit of a, because you're gonna get a reaction, right? If you can play 0 DTs, be ready to take profits fairly quick. You don't play 0 DTs and hope to make 1000%. But if I buy a swing here and my stop loss is, let's say, 40% on that swing, well, I do expect to make at least 3-4 times my money on this swing. And this is the ideal spot for swing entry here. And this kind of goes here. So just read this. Is this a virgin point of control for September?
Let's see.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks like it is. Yeah, it wasn't touched.
This is your monthly VPOC here. If you guys think daily VPOCs are powerful, what do you guys think this one will act?
Magnet.
Yeah, this is gonna be a pretty strong reaction to it. It's a monthly chart, and usually whenever you have monthly charts and reactions like this driving back up, you want to give yourself 4-6 weeks, sometimes even 8 weeks. Okay, so you want to take that opportunity, and I tell you for day trades how you can trade it. It's quick profits. If you can make 30-40%, there's a high chance if you get in that you can make 100% on that put. If you're lucky, depending on how aggressive the sellers are, you can make some good money on these. Okay. What about this right here? What do you guys think about this here?
I don't like that one because it's kind of like what you said before. There's not as much supply, so a bit risky. Could easily get pushed up.
If I was to pick between these two, shorting here or here, I short here. You guys know why?
Without reading the box.
You can read the strength. Read the strength of this like rejection. You have multiple times it got rejected, so it says the power of your projection is higher.
Okay. What about lower high?
Yeah.
You're falling off a shelf there with the skinny belly.
Are you talking about right now or?
No, on that.
Oh, okay, I thought you were talking about this. I'm like, I'm watching this too to see what happened. Yes, you're right. You have a little bit of skinny area here on the monthly previous month. There's not much. And also you're making lower highs and you're hitting bottom of this, right? And I'm pretty sure if we were to look at it here in more detail between these two, there was a nice little gap somewhere. Okay, so this setup here, if I was to pick between this one is A compared to this one here. Okay, and then, I gave you some arrows and pointers up. The only way I would have gone long is if it went above. Rumi, this is for you. If you went above and you came back to the PD7 POC, PD7 means 7 days. And then same here, if you broke the PD value area high, I would go along there. And then your sentiment changes because of this guy. This is a really good short. And a lot of people, they would not even go along here because there's a high chance they might make an early U-turn, right? And then literally just dump it. And then coming back down, I'm just giving you scenarios how to play it. You need confirmation. If you rejected this and your first target is to PD value area high in this case, well, you got to break inside. Once you break inside, then you're able to go, to the PD7 POC. You break that one, retest, because this confirms the acceptance inside and underneath, right? So I think a lot of you guys need to print this slide out and understand what it means to be accepted versus rejected. It applies everywhere. You want to trade in this manner. Okay, and then pretty much same concept here. I think the September value area low was pretty active today. They came back in. Once you're able to get in, and look here, kind of went in here, and if we push it back up here now, this scenario might be in play. If they push it back up, this might be in. you know, you come here, then you're looking to short it. Because right now you're nowhere to, you know, you have no setup right now to short.
Karthik, just so you know, we're getting feedback from your mic.
Sorry, I'll go on mute.
Okay. And then each one of these arrows, right? So if you break below the PD7 value area low, and then you regain it back, to me, is much stronger to go long here than to go long here. Does everybody understand why? I gave you a scenario somewhere earlier on the upper side.
Because you broke through it and you came back and tested from the top and overtook it.
That's correct, because you regained it. This means you accepted this value area again. Here, you don't know if you're going to accept it, so it's a little bit riskier. And the only thing that works in favor here is this. So if you notice here, you know, if you draw a line here, and this is just a line chart. If you draw a line here, right? So this was a resistance. We broke through this and we never retested it. So it might not be a bad idea if you wanted to take a trade, right? And put, let's say, a nice stop loss like somewhere right below this shelf. So you're giving 15 points stop loss. But if we do run, you know, you could be running somewhere to this shelf right here. So you're thinking about, you know, let's say 15 points. What is it? Stop loss. And this could run to 36.85 for about 40 points gain. So 25 points reward. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's not a bad trade if you manage it. And if you let it go to zero, then, you know, it's a really bad trade. Did this exercise help? Did you guys like it? Did you guys feel like it was cumbersome for you guys? Like, oh my God, I have to do fucking homework and trading.
It was fun for me.
Not at all.
It was good.
It was both for me.
Yeah, because the only
Being
reason
honest.
why I added this is because it's relevant to trading right now. A lot of people say, yeah, you know, hindsight is much easier. I'm not giving you hindsight. I want you to find the trades that you're going to take and see which one is hits. For now, the highest probability hit on a trade is this one here, and then this bounce here. We rarely ever just drop down 70 points without any retracements. So this one here has a really high probability that we're going to play this one tonight. You go back in and then dump down. Okay, so I'll finalize some notes here and I'll post this and hopefully it helps you guys. You know, I appreciate the people that did the homework. If you didn't do the homework, if I'm willing to put my time in and take it away from my family and do this for you guys, I would respect if you guys take it seriously and also apply it and learn and see where you're making mistakes. Some of you guys, I mean, some of you guys had, you know, entries right here. Some of you guys had them there. I've seen arrows here. I've seen them here. I saw buying on. Come on, guys. Yes, you would buy here. Come on. What did you have here to buy?
I nail those V shapes all the time. You just buy at the bottom of the V, and you sell at the top.
Super easy.
Yeah, you have to be truthful and realistic with the scenarios they're playing, right? So you have the developing POC of the month here. And a lot of people are like, okay, well, I went long here. I'm like, okay. It's impossible to do such things, right? You know, I saw arrows here. Not many times should you go long off of this level. If it does come back to this monthly POC back again, that might not be a bad level to hop in, right? And it'll be the Psych 3600 level. So you're playing really two good levels. You're playing 3650 for a bounce. If that breaks, then you hit your stop loss, then you're waiting at the 3600. That would mean just that you lost the odds. There was more aggressive sellers and you're on the wrong side of the trade. You get out, you're looking for the next one here. That's it. Once you accept that you're willing to lose a trade, and that's okay to lose a trade, you will be profitable. You'll start seeing more green in your account.
Hey, Shorty, you just put that green arrow right there. Is that okay? That
Hey,
that
Shorty,
one?
in that line.
No. I was telling people what they did wrong. This is bad. Not here.
Because that's a developing POC?
It's a developing POC, correct. We don't know if this level is going to hold.
Okay.
Yep.
And that level might not have even been there when the price came to there. Who knows?
Exactly.
I had one there for 10. It was a 10-12 POC. I mean, I took it long there on that day. On what was that?
Yeah, but did you hold it all the way, to the moon?
Let's see, not Friday. I take that back. That was Monday. Because we had a shelf, or we were going up through that skinny belly. Let's see.
Right here?
Monday, was it Monday morning? Oh, never mind. I take that back. This is all pre-market. That's all after hours. Different one. Different one.
Is that a 7-day developing POC? No, that's not, right? I didn't realize that was a developing POC. I only put to go long there because it was a retest off of when it did break through and then it came back down. I didn't know that that was a developing.
This is our monthly POCs, right? So this is where your month ended, and then you started, right? The current month in October, and you're doing this. You came back to this, high volume node, and that's where I said it's not the best setup, but hey, much better setup here. Now, if you look at the POC, if you combine the 2 months, even though October has a couple of days left, cumulatively, right? You see that this POC now shifted. The previous month, of course, was here. When you combine, you see that this POC was here. It's almost like you find the middle of it, and the POC is now here, and we're right below it. And that value area low is right there at 35.90. So if you lose this, and remember, you come back for a retest anywhere in this area between September value area low and this, you could take a nice little short and expect it to go all the way down. You will have the PD value area low as an exit. You break that, then you have a high chance of visiting this 35.90 here.
And you're saying for that trade, take something that's like 6 weeks, 4 weeks out, 8 weeks?
You need to, on these levels, especially the monthly levels that you're looking at, they take time to play out. It will take us time to get here. We will get here at one point, 38.80, and this is going to be a good level to short.
Hey, Shorty, yesterday I was not able to join the session. When you say the homework, like now you've given a very good picture. Like, is that like we have to ignore this and then try to draw on our own and compare it with yourself and see what mistake we had done?
Yeah, I asked you guys to, I didn't have these drawings for you guys. Right, so I gave you guys a version of this. It was right here. I don't know if this was it MES maybe?
No, it was ES.
That was this one here. Yeah, this one here. So I gave you guys this chart when I asked where would you find the entries on this.
I couldn't find it. I've been struggling to like modify charts to match it.
And I gave you guys what the retails would do, how they would trade it, and probabilities of them making it successful versus not, using their patterns, the regular patterns. And then, you want to contrast that and see how it compares to some different setups when you're playing along the side of the market makers. Okay. So you can take these retail levels, and then now that I gave you kind of some of the answers and some of the ideas, not that all of mine are right and yours are wrong, but I'm just seeing some of the things maybe differently than you guys. And it doesn't mean you have to incorporate it. If what you're doing works, right, and you're happy and you're profitable, then it's okay. Then just keep doing what you're doing. But if you're struggling and you're not consistent, then compare it to what I'm doing versus what you're doing.
Shorty, I have a question.
Yep, 1 second. I feel like some of you guys are taking unnecessary risk. You guys are eager to trade where you need patience, you hurry, right? And some of your mindset is still wrong. You need to treat this as a business opportunity. Your trading is a business. And some of you guys, a lot of you guys are like, okay, well, I got into the 3700s multiple times, and some of them I was able to get in at 7, 8. And then people ask me, am I still in? That's like one of the worst questions you can ask me. Why does it matter if I'm still in? If you run your own business, if you run a business and there's a competitor across across from you, would you call your competitor and be like, hey, are you still buying those soccer balls? And do you think your competitor should tell you if they are or not?
They'd probably lie and say they were, just to make you overextend.
Well, yeah, that's a possibility, right? But the whole point is, you have no business. You might do some analytics to figure out if they're doing it right, and see what's hot and what's the demand's high, supply, whatnot. You might do some analytics to figure it out, but you would not do that, right? And when your business makes, if you're a salesman and let's say your business, somebody comes in and buys some product and you make $300 in 2 minutes, would you decline that trade? Would you decline that purchase to them? Be like, no, I don't want to sell to you.
No.
No.
Why some of you don't like to make $250 in 2 minutes?
Hate it.
Like, I'm serious. And some of you guys are like, I was up 300 and I didn't take it. You guys see me when I trade futures. I set it up where all of my trades become winning trades. Once I'm up nicely, I'll move my stop loss and keep driving it. I'm still, learning the platforms to trim the contracts and whatnot. But the idea is that you leave some runners to your final target and you make a lot of money. You want your wins to be bigger than your losses.
So Shorty, you suggested earlier that on ES, on the smaller volume note, to take a call because it was gonna bounce or something like that.
Because previous week value area high. It's not a smaller node. It's a big deal.
Well, isn't that similar to the example that you gave out, where the example that I guess dumpster fire, or his homework he gave it to you, similar to the drawdown is gonna happen instead of the pump up is.
I'm not following. Sorry.
All right, you're saying that we are some level 37 or 30 whatever 38 36 something to take a call because it's a value whatever high or medium whatever. All right.
It's not
But
whatever.
that's the same
Previous week
example.
value area high. Yeah.
All right. But that's the same example that you're just doing the example of all the notes and all that stuff. That the example showed that that's a small liquidity area. It could be a valued area high for the week, but the previous week we'll just say it was a smaller area liquidity when the bigger liquidity is below it. So it's a trap. So people are basically going to play into the liquidity pool instead of waiting for the liquidity pool to develop.
The liquidity pool is already below it.
Yeah, so why not wait for it to get there instead of playing it beforehand? That's an early trade.
To play before there. You're playing standard deviation of the value area. You're going to play the rebound off of the defending off of the standard deviation of 68.2 off the top.
Yeah, the pivot for me is 36.85. That's my pivot to the upside and to the downside. 36.85. That was the pivot today. That was the pivot yesterday. That was the pivot on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. 36.85.
On ES?
On SPX, yeah.
Well, there's a difference. SPX and ES are 15 points up.
Oh, you're looking at ES. Never mind.
Yep.
I'm SPX at 36.85 as a pivot for the upside and downside.
Chart match of SPX, but yeah.
Well,
SPX doesn't have volume. I really don't care what they do because they move their underlying assets here.
Yeah, ES is just the gauge of SPX. I don't know.
SPX is a gauge of ES, yes.
Yeah, I know. So it's a gauge is basically forefound. It's like VIX, trying to guess the volatility of it. Maybe people miss or not understanding that part of how you can use ES to gauge if you're going to trade SPX or you're not going to trade future. You're going to trade the actual SPX or SPY. You could trade ES and just gauge it off whatever happens overnight into pre-market and use those levels as high liquidity pulls to the upside downside of a pivot.
That's the only way we trade SPX. At least anyone else trade SPX off of SPX chart?
I did in the beginning.
What do you use now?
ES, just because you do.
Yep. All right. I would say majority of you guys use ES. I would say 95% of you guys use ES.
I chart ES and then compare it and go back to SPX.
Yep.
ES is a cleaner chart because you don't have gaps except possibly like on a Sunday, and yeah, SPX doesn't have volume.
Correct.
Or SPY.
You can use SPY, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, but with SPY you get gaps. You don't with ES.
That's true.
Except for on
That's the main
Sundays or
reason.
whatever.
You're able to tell a lot of liquidity where it's at, especially now. You know, if you look here on ES, 3,500, there's a lot of sell buy liquidity here. You know, your sell liquidity being on the top right now. This is what I think Flip's talking about. So here's your, this is where you're going to have your buying liquidity. This is going to be your sell liquidity. So now they're playing the game, right? Everything in between that they do is to generate the liquidity, right? Every one of these moves is it's how do they get you to do the wrong move to stop you out. So if you guys think about this, let's say right here, right? I would say, there's a couple of candles right here. If you guys look, they will usually set up a nice little trap and go over that, like they did here, over that line. And who is trapped here?
All the bulls.
All the bulls are trapped. And then this guy here, that's ready to short, look what they do to this guy. Look, they pump it over it. They go below and look at this little candle here that popped. And if this guy did not close it, now basically the stop losses become your market orders. And once you come back with market orders, that increase what? Liquidity. The liquidity is increased through the market orders, right? Not through limit orders. Limit orders does not mean it will be executed. So that's how they generate liquidity. They see where the pools are and they're like, hey, if we pump it up here, we can stop these guys out. And then these guys that were short, we're gonna come back here, kill them, get the liquidity up and go here. And your job is to play the game along them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, basically people are just trading. People are trading into like the pivot points for where a bull could get a call and where a bear will get it put. That's what I'm trying to say, that you could just wait for the higher liquidity areas.
Yeah. And that's usually your targets for closing.
Yeah, because right now the move, like right now you shouldn't trade. You should just wait for the development of the trade and then you gauge off it, because you have price action to gauge. Right now, there's no price action to gauge.
Shorty, I have a question. On the chart that you gave us for homework, can you show that for just 1 second? I just want to ask you something. If you can, please. Okay. You see on the top there, the top POC, where it's got the big node. On the top, you can go long once it breaks the top, retest, and go long, correct?
Correct. You want the acceptance here.
Okay.
This would be the entry here. Somebody did this. I think it was Rumi. A few of you guys had this set up here where you went over here, and this would be your retest long, correct?
Okay, good.
This would mean your previous selling, right? Where a lot of liquidity was, a lot of stuff was accumulated. You sold it off. If you're able to reclaim the level where you sold off from previously, what does that tell you?
You got acceptance.
Buyers are aggressive.
Yeah, the buyers are more aggressive now, and they took out a major supply. And you don't go on the break of the first, zone, you wait
retest.
to be accepted. You need the acceptance. If you don't get the acceptance, I mean, guys, the market auction theory is the only thing you need to be aware of. Are you accepted? Or are you rejected? Remember, 90% of the time we are here in balance. That's why when it's a trend day, a lot of people lose money, right? The big boys make money, and the traders, the retailers, they lose money because they're not confident that we're seeing a trend day, because it's a rare occurrence. It only happens 3 times a month.
And if you accept it, it means it's looking for a new value area, correct?
It's looking for new value area, and it looks, when you have the extreme set, like this one here, value area of the previous month, that becomes an extreme, right? To go long here, up to here. This is your next target.
ES just gave a nice, or it's giving a nice move off the weekly POC. It just retested it.
I see that.
I can't short this. Okay, so does that make sense to everybody, the homework? And did it help? My key question is, did it help?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, Shorty, it is helpful.
Okay.
On
So
10 minutes.
that example had a lot.
On 10 minute, that looks really clean, Shorty, with the retest.
Yeah. What is this 3681 that we have? Was it a level or?
I don't. So 3665.80, or sorry, 3688 is the weekly POC for me.
Yeah, there was a couple
was
of
yesterday.
POCs.
I haven't charted yet today, so the 7-day on PvP, not
It's your accumulation for P shape
Shorty,
and 1018's value area low.
So Shorty, right now with this price action, would you take a call or a put, or you wait?
If I was to bet, I go along here.
Oh, yeah. So that's my difference. I wait because you might get a breakthrough of that level, a retest, and on the retest, I'm deciding if I take long or short.
Yeah, but I said I bet. There's no setup here.
Yeah, it's a balance stage. Right now, it's just balancing. You're getting a balance right now because it looks clean on the 5, 10, 20 minute, 30-minute time frame. The larger looks like dog water. And that's why I wait for the confirmation of multiple time frames. Maybe I just trade like a dolphin. I don't know, bro. But
no, I mean, guys, you have your style. If your style works, I can't tell you don't do it.
no, nobody's ever gonna tell me how to do it. But it can help out other people.
Yep. So
because that move right there can happen and boom and go higher or it rejects. There's always a trap.
Happens here, this move is what everybody will probably be watching. At least I will be watching tomorrow.
For sure, exactly. Yeah.
So I'm watching 3694 to be reclaimed on PD value area low. Once this happens, guys, this is a very probable. If I wanted to gamble some tonight, right, I could go and put some contracts to go long here. We have a double bottom, if you want to call it, on 65 minutes. There's a high chance you get into this, low liquidity area where they scoop up whatever they can scoop up, and then you dip it all the way to this, which is another long entry here.
Yes, sir.
So if this fails here, right, it's setting up to be potentially a bearish play as well, which is not the best setup, but they could do this, right? This is a scenario, right, where they go here and reject. This is a long scenario, and then there's also a bear scenario depending on how we do it overnight, right? If we go this, right, and you go long here, right, on PD value area, and this fails, well, now you're setting up a really, really good setup here for it. And this would be my favorite short. This right here, I want them to regain it and lose it back.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. So you do talk like a dolphin, bro. It's just in different terminology. Like you're waiting for how the price action reacts around that level, and then you react accordingly. That's what I do. I just wait, but it's a whole hour time frame. I wait for the hour instead of the 15 or 30-minute time frame. That's cute.
All right. Let's see. So everybody good on ES?
Yes, sir. You should check out XLE, bro. Thing looks.
Hold on 1 second. So Tesla, I'm not gonna touch it, guys. Tomorrow, if you guys want to trade it, I'm not even gonna chart it. It's
Hey, Shorty, can I ask a question?
mhm.
So you bought 330 puts for December, but based upon how this chart looks, it's almost like you're expecting it to go up more. Would you just add if it moves up?
Yeah, I only got 5. I mean, I did not go heavy into the position. If we decide to go back up, then this would be my add here. If they want to go really heavy, I will increase my position probably 5-6 times on this level here, 38.90 or 3900, whatever we hit. If we ever get to here, this is where I would enter a full position. Now, if they want to dump it up to here, this is where I would probably close it. And it would be probably 40% on those puts.
What made you pick that number, 330?
Just because we are here at 350, and if any of these supplies are stronger and we are able to take out these lows, right here, it's gonna be an aggressive dump, probably to 340.
Oh, got it.
If we are able to break this with these supplies here, and you see the demand zone holding, if we are able to break with this and this, we're making lower highs. If you're able to slice through it, I mean, think about it. If we go to 350 and SPY was what, at 37-ish? I mean, that would be a 20-point drop, and I have 2 months on my contracts. These contracts will go 3 times the money.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't do the measure move? I thought you did the measure move from 3, whatever, the top of that volume node to the
Now
bottom. Like,
there's a lot of
no,
gaps.
like that where that green range is at that you had. Where did it go? Yeah, from
top to
there,
bottom?
that green range. Yeah, no, from that green range on the top that you have right there
Mhm.
to the other green range. Yeah, I thought you did that measured move and then you gauged it.
No, not for this trade.
Oh, 'cause that's a 20-point drop. So 30 minus 20, 350 minus 20, 330.
If you lose this supply here, you're going to 35.70.
Yeah.
So if I didn't get in it, just wait till you go on top and then possibly, or it's already done deal.
No. I mean, it's never a done deal in the market.
Mm.
So here, if we dump, right, you're gonna wait. You're gonna get you don't want to be buying puts when you're falling down. You should be looking to add puts when you're going up. Today, when we got a bounce, I was looking at those, and I'm like, okay, well, I looked at the contracts. They're pretty much at the low of the day, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll just scoop these up, and I think they jumped almost like $40.
Yeah, they did. Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking to buy puts. Was it a smart idea probably to get some puts here when we were trading up here to get those 330s, 350s maybe? Probably a good idea, right? I expected them initially to break this range here, but I guess not. Maybe they did not accumulate enough here. Okay. All right, Amazon, let's see what they did.
Shorty, can you chart the NOC?
Chart what?
NOC, the trigger NOC, Northrop Grumman.
Can I finish Amazon?
Yeah. Sorry, like I didn't mean to interrupt. Like I just thought I'll just.
So I'll look at this. I mean, this could be a nice setup for short or long. So here's your PD, value area high, POC. And this could give you a nice setup. I mean, I would prefer that we gap up tomorrow. If you do this and then you do this, this would be the ideal. And then you would just go here and here. And this would be your what here?
80% rule.
It's your 80% rule. Right. So this would be the ideal setup for short. If you open, below the PD POC, which maybe that's how it's looking, you're looking to play this. And if you're playing opening here below, it gets tricky. You would need it to go inside, then outside, then here to short. So I'm just giving you different scenarios which can help you kind of figure out how to have proper setups for trading. On the top, you have a VPOC. right? So this is something you should watch if they're able to run it right here. And this is where they also have some liquidity. If they're able to run it above, this would be a good trap also that they might play, where they go above it and people get excited and then you would dump. I'll watch Amazon tomorrow a little bit to see AMD reclaim 60. Nope. Look at AMD here. And I was telling Bakari today, I don't know if he's on. Whenever you have an accumulation like this, what should you do?
Wait, be patient.
Well, you should always be patient, right? In terms of trading, you know, how do you want to approach this?
Top to bottom, bottom to top.
It's easy. You trust
Yep.
your levels that they're gonna hold here. And I like to do this. As soon as you get into the range, I grab FVP and I look at this. And it helps me define my entries a little bit better. If you guys look at the PowerPoint, I'm pretty sure there's some explanation on these SL highs and lows here.
Shorty, what did you just do? Back up one?
Hold on one second. So
Okay,
this is
so
your value areas examples. There's one here. This was balance to imbalance. I think there's one here, consolidation. Yeah, there's this one here, where we talked about the reversal of the bottom, reclaiming, going long. And then we also had on one of the watch lists, we talked about it. This is here. What is this here? If you're to think about it, the structure low here being the black line. So you have a channel, structure low, structure high. You dip below it, it's called a spring. They're most likely going to run this all the way up top to the top. And that's exactly what they did. They made a lower, higher low here. And, you know, they're still accumulating here. They haven't broken this 56. This is an anomaly here. You know, they're trying to get some liquidity from people that had the stop losses right below and they grabbed it. And look, how many people here were pissed? Oh, I got stopped out only to see it do what?
yeah.
You know, it ran $7.
I hate it when they suck when they do that.
Yeah, and a lot of people can recognize those patterns. So here, you know, there's multiple ways to play and scalp this. Like, I mean, a shitload of ways, right? You have the channel, you know, your channels can act as supports and, you know, balance points. You get in, go long. Like, you know, you came back here. A lot of people probably went long here and look, I mean, you got $1 move. You come back, you do it again. I mean, just think about it. Take $200,000 and play $1 move.
Yeah.
$1 move.
Shorty, how would you suggest a long if AMD has earnings November 1st? Because I always try to help individuals out gauging what a market maker or an institution might run it up into earnings or consolidate it, and then the week of earnings, which is November 1st, decide the price action.
So what
You know, because they already have inside info.
For what are you asking me?
If AMD has earnings on the 1st, how would you play the imbalance range that is it in right now? The balance range that's in right now?
Buy the bottom.
How would you play it? Yeah.
Buy the bottom, sell the top.
Oh, so you're still scalping, or?
I mean, if you're scalping, this is $4. Buy the
Yeah,
bottom.
it's a good range.
$4, I'll take it every day.
Yeah.
I mean, look at these candles, guys, on a daily. There's no indication. If somebody knows, and there's people supposedly on Twitter and experts, then know based on order flow, which way the stock's gonna go. Please fucking educate me, because I don't think I've learned that you can match order types and know which way it's going.
Going up.
Yep, it's definitely going.
You got the volume declining. Yeah, you're right.
Volume,
yeah, you do. You can't gauge, but you can gauge the sentiment of it.
Exactly.
If you're gauging the $4, you could gauge the $4 to $4 more, because it's gonna break the range once it gets into the $4 range. Yeah, and that's where you can
take your
ride
full account and short it now?
Say what?
Why don't you take your full account, full port short on AMD?
AMD? My full account. That's 220K, bro. I ain't doing that.
But why wouldn't you short it?
Why wouldn't I short it? There's not enough price action for me to gauge actual long for November. For November, the monthly November contracts.
Why don't
I
you go
played
long?
I'm waiting for until Friday. On Friday, that's where I'll decide if I want to take something in November.
What is your indication on Friday that you should go long?
I'll tell you right now. Give me a second.
Shorty, after that, can you show where you had the play the bottom and the top, the page before this one? Yeah, right there. How did you get the volume there? Where did you go from what to what?
So as soon as we got into the inside of this range, this black line or purple line, I guess here now.
Yeah.
This is where I grabbed the range top. You see here is the low.
Yes, sir.
Order block order. I grabbed the bottom of this one here. We came back. You got one tap clean. A little trap over. So this tells you there's a liquidity grab here, and then we went to the bottom. We have multiple taps on the bottom structure low. We tapped multiple times, so I put that as a structure low. Once you get inside of this range and you're accumulating, I want to know where's your value area? What are you doing? Right here, every time, what do you guys notice? Every time we popped above value area high, what happened?
We rejected.
Was it easy rejection or what type of rejections are these?
It's a very easy rejection.
Aggressive.
Yeah.
These are aggressive
It's wicking.
rejections. I mean, it's single 2 candles that drive you back all the way to value area low or structure low.
And that's an hour, 65 minutes. It's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, in 65 minutes, you're covering $4 on AMD. I mean, that's money-making machine.
On the fixed, I guess my question was on the fixed range. Where did you go grab it from? Where to where?
Where does it start? Look.
From the top to the bottom.
Look where it starts. Look, just look.
Yeah.
Look at my mouse right here. This is where you got in. This is where I grabbed it from here to the end.
From here to the end. Okay.
It's just from left to right during consolidation.
From left to okay. Thank you. Thank you.
And you always do extend right if you're gonna monitor the chart, so that way you don't have to grab it. And this is dumpster teaching.
So on consolidation, it's always from left to right.
It doesn't matter. I mean, I can grab it from right to left. I can grab it from here to here as long as my starting point and end points match the consolidation candles.
I got you. I got you.
Same result.
And if you turn on extended, make sure you turn it off when you use it in other areas.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Thank
now you're watching here, and what does usually happen when you break value area on or POC? What do you usually get? You got a little spike almost every time. You got.
I was gonna say it was an aggressive move.
Yeah, you almost get a
Up and down.
$1.50 move. So I mean, is it easy to play? I love playing ranges. For me, I love playing ranges because I can collect probably 3-4 times 50%. These are 65-minute candles.
Yeah, I do better on these days than I do on trend days.
Yeah, I think so too.
And that's because that's what we see most of the time. And if you look at this is 2-hour candles. Look at this. Pretty wild, right? So now I'm expecting that we're gonna run tomorrow. So let's see, unless news come in and we're dying.
Yeah, Shorty, you asked me if I'll go my full port. I'll full port above 58.68. That's just based on dark pool and how all the wicks where it sold off. That's where buyers exhaustion or sellers step in. Once the buyers take over the sellers, that's when price actually rockets. And I'll get $65 calls or $70 calls. $70 calls or 70 cents for November. November what? November 18th. November 18th. $70 calls are 71 cents or $71 if you want to do it. Or if I want to be more risky, I'll get an entry on hold until Friday of 55.95. A hold of that level, 55.95. I'll grab 65s and I'll get a starter pack. I'll get 10 for November 8th.
Okay. I don't see the same setup. I would, me personally, I would not take that trade. But if that's what you see, that's good.
No, that's what everybody's seeing, bro. Like, I'm trading off what you guys are trading. I basically trade off what everybody else sees and then gauge off that. All right, this is where people are trying to buy. Why would I buy where people are trying to sell? If I'm trying to get a put, why would I get a put if people are trying to buy at that level? Or if people are trying to get a call, why would I get a put if people are trying to get calls? I play the liquidity, the inverse liquidity of what the whole market is trying to do, and play the actual price action, what it's actually trying to tell you. But hey, I don't know.
I just don't agree with those levels. I would never go long on swing over 58.68.
Why not?
Because you're in a no man's land. They can as quickly reverse it as they did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. They reversed it from that level. They gave you a trap right above it. Your liquidity actually zone. If you want to talk the liquidity, your liquidity on this level is somewhere around 59.07. And if you want to play 59.07, you're playing it for $1.06.
But that's where your exhaustion is at. I'm not playing $1, $2, $3. I'm trying to get the trend move.
You're where's the best buy for swings, 30 Mex or somebody? Where would you buy swings here?
56.32 or even anything.
POC.
Retest of the top.
No. Well, if you wanna be really risk averse, you wanna break this, then you're gonna drive to this level. If you're gonna play long, I mean,
the
guys,
bottom. 56.32.
one time buyers came in here. Buyers came in here. They're defending these levels. They set up a trap
56.32.
here. This was a liquidity grab. They did a pretty good job. They grabbed it, and then they grabbed a little bit more. They grabbed a little bit more. Grabbed a little bit more. I mean, if every time you grabbed it, you ran up, why can I not grab it next time and hope, go over the big boys?
Yeah.
If they do this, then you're out. You get stopped out. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 times they bounced it. One time they fell through. Which odds do you guys want to take? You want to take the odds somewhere in the middle, or you want to take the odds on the bottom?
Bottom, please.
Guys, 6 out of 7 times they bounced it.
But that's the same thing you could 58, like the 58. All right, if I throw my chart on the chat, that same thing that you're saying about the 6 times that it bounced off 56 is the same thing that's going to happen on the top if price breaks to 58.95, and it could create the same action that it's creating right now, but at the 58.95 level, at the 59 level that you have for your POC. It's continuation of price.
For buys or not, you have no idea.
All right, bro. I guess.
But do you know if it was a buy or sell on the DP level?
The DP level is fat on 58. They're accumulating. Where people are selling,
My question, though, was it a buy or sell?
They're buying.
How do you know?
Based on the liquidity accumulation. If you take over that liquidity accumulation, algos turn on and institutions start saying, all right, there's sellers are losing strength in that price action, and buyers are stepping in, overtaking where buyers were weak. Buyers are becoming stronger because they're gauging the price, while sellers are trying, or where bears are trying to push them below 55 or 56 level that you guys have. They're trying to push them below that so they can flush them out, because that's where people are buying. So they're trying to liquidate all the strong buyers that are there, because they're gonna be like, damn it, we can't.
You're assuming a lot of things when you're doing that. To match an order.
I'm not assuming price action, brother. I'm basing it on price action.
If you can, when you take that trade over 58.68, just post the profits for me. I'm not doubting that you work. I will take up trade right here long. You take this one. Let's hold it for 3 weeks. Let's see which one has better results.
Copy on that. What do you want to drop? 10 pack, 10, 15, 20 pack, 25 pack? What do you want to drop?
Matter.
They're only 70 cents, $65 or $1.38.
I'm just telling you, play the percentages return. I don't care how many packs you play. I'll play one pack.
We're not having a pissing contest. We're not having a pissing contest because
I don't have a contest flip. I'm trying to teach people not to
right,
buy in the middle of the areas where there's no zone to buy.
Yeah, you're trying to negate that my action is wrong while yours is right, based on 6 times that it hit. That same 6 times that it hitting at 55, it can happen at 58. I'm trying to confirm that. Are the sellers are in control or the buyers in control? Right now, nobody's in control because there's just ranging, it's bouncing. Buyers, sellers, buyers, sellers. Like you said, it bounced 6 times. You got your $4 move. All right. What's the next move for November? Because October is gonna end. What's the next move for November, December? And they're gonna play it into the earnings that they have November 1st. I'm gauging off what's gonna happen. Like you're doing your PLCs and all your
Flip. I'm not doubting you, but I'm just telling you the way I play it is different than you
No,
play
you're
it.
not wrong, bro. I'm not saying
I'm
wrong.
not suggesting you're wrong either. I'm just telling you I don't.
Yeah.
I
You're
don't like
saying you're
buying something in the middle of the prices where I can buy it a lot cheaper. I bought shares at 57 on AMD.
No, of course. And then I'm saying that off your the ES, which is smart. Like how you're playing it, you're playing it off the liquidity where your PLC is at. That's the same thing I'm doing it, but on the inverse. Instead of price being above the range, it's below the range. So it's kind of tricky. But if I'm willing to do something at the bottom, at the top, let's say where ES is at, I should be able to act the same way accordingly on the bottom. Maybe you have a different approach that other people can learn from. Because I learned from your mistakes and you learn from my mistakes. Everybody learns from their mistakes. And I learned that you became profitable off gauging off the PLCs and waiting that 10, 15-minute candle, 30-minute candle, waiting for it to close, and boom, I'm in it. And you drop 25 packs. What is a snack pack? And I'll be like, damn, why is he dropping a snack pack here instead of dropping a snack pack on the 330s? You get me? Because when you drop a snack pack, I draw it with you. I'm swimming with you, bro. I don't give a fuck. I don't care if I get eaten. I'm a dolphin. I'll get eaten. I'll slap a few whales. Fuck you mean?
Okay.
I'll slap a few whales with you.
Yeah, but right now I ain't learning shit.
All right, guys.
Well, this is
I'm
going
sorry,
on.
but I got guys. Please, yeah, I gotta get back. It's 10:30 for me as well, and for many of you guys. Is everybody clear on ES levels?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Any other tickers you guys want to take a look at?
Do you do Neo, Shorty?
Neo.
That was a great combo, Shorty. By the way, people understood. Oh, that was a great combo. You don't think so?
Flip, I gotta go. But come on.
All right.
This is a tricky one. They still have a gap there. They haven't filled. And I don't know what happened today, but a lot of Chinese stocks took a little hit. I don't know if there was news. I was not. I was not following too close on Chinese stocks, but something's happening there. Either the listings or something's going to happen. But I will not touch this till here. And I think you asked me about this one, catching rockets a couple of weeks ago when it was at 18, and I think I told you it was going to go to $10. I think somebody was not.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
So $10 now, probably going single digits. 850 would be a decent share buy for this. So just if you guys think about this, it might blow your mind. So here they broke the POC. Now look where we are. The favorite setups already happened, right? You go here, you lost it, boom. You go all the way to this one right now. You just basically revisited the whole value area of this accumulation that started in March of 2020. And a lot of people are probably, unfortunately, back holding here. Right? Otherwise, you know, if you're willing to buy here, I'm not telling you what to do. If you're willing to buy here, there's a lot less risk here.
Better average down.
It's a lot less risk here. If you guys look, remember your little liquidity gaps right there. So this would be the area that I'm not gonna buy shares of NEO, but if I was to buy them, I would be looking somewhere here.
Yeah, everybody was thinking this was gonna be the Chinese Tesla.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that.
That's why everybody bought so much.
I remember my
Mike again.
Sorry.
average was 30, but I was lucky to get out at 45 on the way down.
Yeah, I had a single digit average on NEO. Really?
This is one of the, yeah, Robinhood. I bought these December 2019, like around $4 or $5.
Oh, I remember.
Shorty,
$4.
if you had a little bit of cash, like, you know, maybe $300-400, would you put it on Google? If it was your money, would you put it on Google or AMD?
I like both companies, right? I like even MU. So.
MU might be a Chinese stock soon.
So either or?
Yeah, and here comes MU here. I think we talked about this example.
Does
anyone remember when we talked about this, guys? This was your support. Remember, this was your support. You broke below it. Does anyone remember this? Okay, look where we are now. Boom, right at the POC where you came back, where you exploded from. You created an accumulation. You popped, you bounced. A lot of retailers saw something else here. You know, they saw a double top and they shorted right here. On the break, but look at this short here on the retest. Beautiful, all the way back to the POC. So you had $15 short here. And I mean, I can't explain it any more better than this picture here. This is your entry here. Okay, let me just check TSM.
What was that, MU?
That was MU, yeah. Oh. So TSM is headed to $52, guys. Yeah, I will be watching this one as well. Yeah, this is headed to 50s.
Shorty, can you do NOC?
NVOC?
No, NOC, Northrop Grumman, the defense company.
Is it like this? I'm sorry, I can't get the ticker name.
Yeah. It's N as in Nancy, O as in Oliver, C as in Charlie, NOC. Yeah, in this one, like, yeah, this is not to just understand, like, because it is on uptrend. Like in this case, how do you do the levels? Like in this case, it's keep on going, but it is on a channel. So just want to understand how you will find the levels where to buy, because it's not coming down. If I have to buy, like, I understand patience, but I just want to see how do you chart this one shot.
Okay, can you close your eyes for 2 minutes?
Sure.
All right, close it.
1, 2.
Right click it and bring to front, maybe.
The problem is finding it.
There you go.
Okay, you can open your eyes, Karthik.
Yeah, shot.
Where would you like to buy it? This is all you see.
Yeah, that's right.
What's right? Where do you want to buy? You want to buy here? Or you want to buy here? You want to buy here?
Not really. Like I want to see, like, how do we find the spot
First
to?
trick is always fine. Look at this levels. Take the bias out. A lot of people that are buying right here, they're going to be regretting that. A single tweet right here. Let me just change this now. A single tweet that the war is over sends this back to the POC where it came from.
Can we have that tweet tomorrow?
And what do you see here? You're talking about half of the value to be decimated from this level. And I'm not saying, right? I mean, also another tweet could send this to 1,000. So now you look here, if you know, you lose this value area high where you've been struggling a little bit. You've been dipping inside of it. You lose this 450. You have a nice little drop here, $80 drop. So, and a lot of retailers, what do you guys think they're doing here now?
Going up, I want to buy it, like
Buying and like celebrating.
I mean, you know, if it was pretty good buy at 224, to me, that it's no longer a good buy at 510.
yeah, that's what when I
Yeah,
tried
they're
to
gonna
chart,
buy
I
because look,
could
it went up 100%.
yeah, I could not chart it, but I as you said, like I thought it is tightly related to the war. If anything happens, it's going to tumble.
Guys, these people, I'm not gonna go into politics, conspiracies, but I'm pretty sure that there was, you know, if you think about this March 20th, there was a lot of buying in this area right here. And by coincidence, we got a war with Russia and Ukraine here somewhere, wherever it was announced.
It was like 7 months ago.
Yeah, just it's coincidental that the war happened. And then if you ever happen to look at this, I mean, this is your oil on March 20th, right? This was at $8. Your crude, if you guys remember, was also, but it went negative. Negative 40. Have you guys seen negative prices on stocks?
No.
I remember that day.
I remember it too, because you could have gotten free gas. They would have delivered to you, just had to have proper storage for it.
Dang it.
Dang it, yeah.
What was
So-
the news with the crude oil today? Wasn't there something they were gonna, I don't know, Biden came out with something?
Yeah, he's
Yes,
gonna complete our SRP pretty much. Yeah. All the way. So there basically you have an oil reserve. US has an oil reserve, right? In case of wars, in case of emergencies, you have something called reserve where you can kind of take that oil from. Usually you want to replenish that as quickly as possible, but if it's almost like when you're sick with something, right? And you treat the symptoms, you don't treat the cause. Right now we're just patching the symptoms here because, you know, you have November 8th coming up and you want the gas to be lower than the years before, or, you know, the presidents before. So you're depleting the strategic reserve, which could also fit your agenda of the Green New Deal in the United States, right? Because then you can just say, we don't have gas, we have to go electric.
What do you think about the battery, like Charge Point and stuff, those companies that build the batteries for the cars, for the electric cars?
How much is electricity in Germany, in Europe? Does anyone know?
I just see the percentages. I don't know where they actually is.
I think it's coming down to 200 something. The futures.
Let me see, there's a chart. Let's see.
I think you need to look at the futures.
Yeah, let me see. I mean, what's the bit besides XLE? What do you look at? I'll have to find a country that's close enough.
It also says you put a German U instead of Germany.
Oh, okay. Then maybe that's what helps. Okay, Belgium's. So now if you guys look here, I mean, at one point in Europe, we really did break some records on electricity cost, right? This is production. This is not the cost, actually. So this is what I'm kind of looking for, but for Germany. So here's your US cost per electricity. So think about supply and demand. You asked me about the batteries, right?
Yeah.
If everybody goes electric, what happens to electricity price?
I would think it would go up.
Why do you guys think it would go up?
It depends on like the supply of gas, right? And all.
Competition.
Guys, it's still the supply and demand. If the demand increases for electricity grids, well, I don't see you as producing a lot of clean electricity, no coal-based, right? So unless you're producing a lot of electricity, solar or wind turbines or whatever, are you really doing a good job for Earth? I don't know. This is
I
this
see
is
what
just
you mean.
off the topic. But eventually, I don't think the rich boys off of oil tycoons are gonna let go of the the spoon and the honey just yet.
Shorty, the link I posted is for Germany in the chat.
Let's see. So look at this jump here.
Go to the monthly chart, like change it from daily to monthly. See the drop.
Yeah, there goes a drop, and I don't
Oh
think this is
God.
gonna stay here. Because the news keep coming out that Putin hit some electricity and some power stations in Ukraine. That was his first target to hit.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, electric
But
demand.
it but it has forced all the European countries to speed up alternative energy, which is good.
No, it is.
I think.
But you have to do it the right way. You have to go solar or the wind turbines. You cannot.
Yeah, I know. Like in Denmark, I mean, so we have a lot of the windmills, and they put them out in the the North Sea, but they are connected like to Germany, Norway, Sweden, like the electric grids, and then they just like they sell it and get it back and whatever. So it's working good. I mean, I think like we are not really dependent on it. I think Germany. I mean, Germany is an outlier because they really depended on the gas from Russia, right? A lot more than other countries. So.
Yeah. And I mean, those Scandinavian countries like Denmark, Sweden, I think they're a few steps ahead in terms of clean energy. At least when I was in Switzerland, there was cities that did not allow any gas in the 30
Yeah, I think
kilometer radius. Like
I
I've never
think
seen gas in this.
I think like Copenhagen is like the prototype city. I know like a bunch of mayors from a lot of countries, they were there because they're doing like carbon capture and things like that. So
No, it's a totally different mindset in some of those
yeah.
countries.
What do you think about SoFi? Do you like SoFi Technologies company?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, not yet.
I just have a question while we were. Oh, my bad. I'm gonna cut off. Wait, were you still asking, Cuban? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
No, I'm done, man. Do you waiting to go lower? Is that what you mean, Shorty?
You can definitely buy it, like this range here that we're accumulating in is not a bad range that you're in now. I mean, it can go. This is all-time lows where we're at now. So
It's $4.99 right now.
From risk perspective, you can still lose money, of course, here, but it's a pretty wide range of accumulation. We are on the bottom. If I was to buy the shares, it would be here. I have some shares already at a little bit higher average, 620, but I'm not looking to add.
Gotcha.
So for tomorrow, is the sentiment, if you had to guess, with Tesla going down or missing earnings? I see that Apple. I mean, like the stocks are going down right now. So you think we should expect like more downturn tomorrow?
We would know in the morning, once we see where we are in terms of, value area, right? That would be our story, like, hey, are we above the value area? You know, if we open above the value area high, we dip inside and tells you really bearish. We open below value area low, then it tells you a different story as well. So
Yeah.
until we see that, but you know,
But it's
this
always good to have sort of a sentiment too. I realize obviously that, you know, you have to play the price action, but
Yep.
I'm
And
just
I mean, think
wondering
about
how much the missed earnings are gonna affect the overall market.
if you look at the price action on Tesla here, right? I'm on the daily time frame, right? So this was your day here low, and then this is your PDL here. That if I was to bet, you know, on this to go long or short, which way would you guys have bet? Remember, this year you're very close to PDH, and this one here is about $12 away. Your odds should be that you're going to be most likely going down because you may have a lower high, slightly higher low, or equal lows here. If I was to bet, this was down. So this level here tomorrow becomes super important on Tesla. And I think right now Tesla is below this level. Yeah, it's
at 207, 206.
Yeah, 207, 206. So it looks like, you know, the 203.66 level,
I can't believe it's that low.
it might be here. And if they get some crazy buying, right, and depends how people in the retail sees the shares. Because remember, retail is obsessed with even numbers. They might drive this up again here and push it back up. I'll be looking short right here. This would be an ideal short for me. I'll be looking to go in here and short Tesla. And I mean, look at this accumulation here. I mean, this happened since October 7th.
Shorty,
Right.
can you read options question in the chat?
So right now they're building fear. I don't think we're gonna get capitulation in 2022. It's not gonna happen in 2022. They are making you think they are. They're gonna load up more, right? So for instance, Tesla here, the way I see personally Tesla is it has to go to 168. Like it needs to revisit that level. It's like right here.
I think the monthly bottom is right around that area as well.
It's 166, I believe.
166.
Yeah, I think it's 166 if I remember the level. Yeah.
I mean, it never came back.
And then, you know, what I tell you guys to use, and you should always have this on your chart. I mean, just look at this right here, you know. Let me just go on the regular. Here's the big boys, the 20% of S&P 500 right here. A lot of people got excited that we were going much higher. You know, this is just a regular bounce of a downtrend. You know, from here, you bounce from here to here, and then you took this bounce to here, correct? So your bounce was 9%. Your bounce was 11%. So you have to think right now, you know, people say there's no sentiment. I beg to be different. There's a very strong sentiment that you're really bearish right now. If you're trying to catch the bottoms, you're going to get destroyed in stock market. You're not trying to catch the bottoms. People are like, why you buy AMD at 57? I mean, should I buy it at 160? Is that the idea? Why I don't get it. If I'm not buying it here where they broke out from before and we filled this gap, I mean, where else would I buy it? Yeah, sure. If it dips here, then, you know, I will hold it. So the logic is to play with the big boys, not against them. And a lot of people, the mindset's so different where you're betting against them, and you trust me, you don't have enough liquidity to play against them.
Hell no.
So Shorty, like you said, there'll be capitulation next year, but what do you think will be the reason?
I honestly think we're gonna, if it happens, right, it's gonna be the major crisis of the dollar strength and then also the liquidity. Because you're gonna have some banks right now, even though they're reporting, you know, we don't see all of their book stuff, but they're reporting somewhat strong earnings, right? I mean, the Goldman Sachs had pretty good earnings, but eventually, you know, the bankruptcies on houses, luckily people have fixed rates on mortgages, right? But eventually, when you can't buy, you know, if you keep increasing interest rates, what do you think the companies are going to be doing if you're depleting their stock? I mean, just look in the news, how many layoffs are happening? Well, if you're firing the people and they don't have disposable income to buy or even pay the rent, well, eventually these banks are going to be shaky, right? Because if you're not able to pay the house, that takes cycles, right? You can't sign bankruptcy in a month and, you know, you cleared it and it impacts. It takes at least 9 to 12 months for a bank to feel that hit, right? There's different rules, right? Procedures on bankruptcies and such. So when people are unable to pay certain things, it takes time. You clear it, sign bankruptcy, then it hits the books. On Bank of America, they report it, they write it off. I mean, there's a lot of shit that goes in the back end, but that's going to start happening, right? Because a lot of people, you know, when it's good times, they don't plan for bad times. They live the good times a lot. The rule is, at least, you know, to build net, you know, wealth is live the good times, but save for the bad times. Because we were in a really good times, you know, for almost 2 years, right? In terms of stock market, I mean, even the jobs, you could literally get a job probably 30, 40% higher just hopping between different jobs. And if they kill that, which they are, then you really enter a recession. And then it has the kind of domino effect on the financial systems when the cash is tied up. And, you know, if people don't have jobs, what cash do they use? Do they use savings if they have any? Yeah, they're going to use savings because that's what it's intended for. And do banks like when you take the money out of the bank and savings?
No.
No, they don't like that. Because remember, banks, when you deposit money in the bank, that money is a liability for them. It's your asset, right? It's a liability for them. They need to make your cash an asset. So what do you think they do with your money?
They'll lend it out.
They lend it out. But if you pull the money out and they lended the money already, what happens?
Don't they have like a requirement like 3 or 5% of the net
Called
value?
They just close their ATMs.
Well, they can do that actually. They've done it in different countries. It's
Yeah, I
called
know.
Fed nominal rate. There's a nominal rate they set for cash reserves. So then, you know, the banks are supposed to hold the cash at a certain level. But what happens if the banks don't have the cash?
They'll go in the repo market.
They go into the repo market. And if the repo rate's going up, and remember, repos are short-term loans. You're entering the cycle of, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of, there was financial advisors that told people to pay off one credit card debt with another credit card debt. Like, hey, pay off this credit card with another credit card, and then another credit card, pay off that credit card. You try to do that cycle and see how
Borrow
far.
from John to pay Paul.
You're not gonna get far. Eventually it stops, and then you're screwed. So that's pretty much how that works. And I think if we collapse, it's gonna be 10 times worse than 2008. And the problem is the Feds in 2008 had the ammo to defend it. This time the inflation is different. Inflation is not driven by employment this time around. I think the inflation is driven by increased asset values.
Where's some shit?
So, and when you have that, you know, your federal central banks can't do shit about it. Interest rate is, you know, I don't think the rich person cares if if your interest rate's 6 or 9%, because they're not gonna most likely buy with the loan.
No, they never suffer. We do.
So
I guess we've got to start building some more roads. Like the Great Depression, right?
no, it could be really, really bad. And that's when I say, stocks like X, like, Caterpillar, they will get a little bit of good news soon. Because, we're going to have to build better America. Remember, we're going to have to build roads and bridges soon, and it's going to spark probably jobs.
I have a question about like I guess commodities like wheat and like kind of like food items like that. Have you ever like is there a successful way, I guess, to like use volume profile and trade these as well? Because it has me thinking a bit.
I've never traded commodities ever, so
Okay.
I don't even know. I'm pretty sure the contracts are traded, but I don't know here. Here you go. So you could trade this, but this is your corn futures. I mean, and what's funny, right? Corn futures dropped from all-time high. They dropped 30%, but I would ask you guys, has your grocery bill dropped 30%?
No. No.
And that's companies making a profit.
Ah.
That's called when you have a monopoly and you don't have enough competition in the market. Well, you can go. How many cell phone providers do you guys have?
It's AT&T, Verizon.
I mean,
Quite a
T-Mobile,
few.
Verizon, AT&T. Who else? How many
Metro,
mergers did we have? in this?
Metro, PCS.
Metro's owned by T-Mobile.
Yep.
Yeah.
AT&T.
There's some competition there.
T-Mobile
you have-
and Mint
you have-
Mobile.
Yeah, you don't have a lot of competition.
Cricket.
And you think about TV providers, you have DirecTV, Xfinity, but then you have all these streaming services, right? When the competition gets super tight like that, you either need to expand the competition to drive the prices down naturally, because this here is not doing it.
Yeah, no.
And if you look deeper under this hood and you see what happens to the farmers, like family farmers and these, they're disappearing really, really fast off the market.
Yeah, one of my actually one of my best friends, his sister works in a place where they're essentially like making meat, but it's like created from cells. Like it's not even like they're growing animals anymore.
Yeah, Israel just announced they figured out how to make steak from some. I don't know if you guys read.
From like artificial meat.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, it's
This was it right here.
Pretty soon, all we have to do is just take a pill.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys watched that movie. I think it was called Last Train. It's a really weird movie, but I somehow watched it, and it's pretty much the last train, and the train is divided in subsections. Like you have a section that's here, you have a section here, and then basically it's different quality of life on the train. You had rich people eating lobster, steaks. These guys ate a little bit of burgers and veggies, and these people ate sandwiches and burgers made from cockroaches that were found in the first two areas. And then once these people found out that these people are eating lobsters, what do you guys think happened?
They went crazy.
Yeah. It's funny.
Okay. Yeah, because I always kept wondering, like I would see.
You just
like,
gotta wonder
occasionally-
how long, I'm sorry, we're gonna sustain,
Mhm.
that much meat to be produced and how much the consumption of meat is right now.
Like they had documentaries on like Netflix, like I think the regular cycle of a chicken is like what 40 or 50 days, and they give them like medicine and they bring it down to like 20 days or something.
Yeah, which I'm pretty sure is healthy for everyone.
Crazy chemicals in those chickens.
Well, I mean, it's everywhere. I don't think it's chicken. I mean, you take an apple and you leave it outside of the fridge, you cut it, and it doesn't turn yellow for like 6 days, and you're like, man, what's going on? Like,
Yeah, that's true.
you're gonna go bad.
Yeah, you
Oh,
eat
if it's
the
a green apple, it's like 3 weeks.
Yeah, like,
I had them in the bag for 3 weeks and they're still like supposedly fresh.
That's what I'm talking about. I had
Yeah.
green apple green Smith, and I'm like, man, I thought I bought this one like 2 weeks ago, and it's still normal inside. Like usually, I'm used to seeing some yellowing and falling apart, but not this one. So it's a good sign not to engage into the eating.
I'm thinking about maybe trying to trade like commodities, or at least just I guess looking at the charts every now and then as well with a volume profile. Just I don't know, just kind of look at something else as well.
Yep. Yep. And I mean, there's a lot of correlations where it doesn't match, right? So if you guys think about, your crude, right? We had a massive drop, from all-time highs. So think about it. You went from 131 to 77, but my highest gas that I paid here was 440 in Atlanta, 450. So shouldn't my gas naturally be cut in half eventually, or it dropped to 350?
That's a good point.
And that's also because we released a lot of oil reserves, right?
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of greedy companies right now, and that, if you had a business and you had to do less work but make the same amount of money, would you do it?
Yeah.
Fortunately, a lot of people would, because they forget about the community. Okay. All right, guys. I'll be live tomorrow, so we'll see how far we get. Let's see what opportunities come in tomorrow. Hopefully similar like today.
Awesome.
Definitely.
All right, guys.
Have a good
See you
night.
guys.
Thanks a lot, Shorty.
Thanks, Shorty.
Thanks, Shorty.
Guys.
See you, Rocket. See you guys.
Later.